Hey guys, so today I'm going to be giving you an update on the 40-gallon bioactive terrarium that I house my adult female leopard gecko in. I think she's about 2 or 3 years old. She was given to me because I was looking for one and somebody was looking to get rid of one. So I got her a couple months ago now. Not quite a full year ago, I think, just earlier in the school year. And she basically lives within that hide back there. So I just took off her top, the terrarium's top, because I'm gonna clean up the front glass real quick. So I have quite enjoyed keeping her, and I've also quite enjoyed this terrarium in general. I think that this terrarium is really cool. It's my first and only arid tank, or right now it's my first and only arid bioactive tank, but I will have more coming up on this channel. And the plants have actually been doing really well, which was the main thing that triggered this. I don't clean off the glass very often, but I do every once in a while because I don't spray it in here very often. So the glass doesn't get dirty with water stains very often. But like I said, I house an adult leopard gecko in here, and she hides during the day, all day. But during the before I go to sleep, during the dawn and dusk, she will come out. And I need to get UVB on her tank, which is something I'll be doing in the future. But right now she does not. And I give her calcium with D3, which I don't use that calcium every time that I give her food. Just every once in a while to make sure that she's getting enough calcium and everything. And I do believe she's all good when it comes to that. But she seems to be healthy. She's pretty round. I'll show you guys a picture of her now. And that's what she looks like. She's been doing really well in this tank. She eats for me every, 3 days? I think I feed her every 3 days. And she eats for me pretty much every single time, no problem. Sometimes she'll kind of turn it up or she won't be out. And that's fine. I just don't feed her that time and then I feed her again. So she eats dubia roaches and she's doing really nicely in this tank. She comes up and she will bask in the heat because the heat emitter's on. It's a 150 watt heat emitter. It's on all the time and day and night. And then I have this light for the plants, which has done surprisingly well. I'll tell you about that in a second. But if you can see, right here is the thermostat. And right there, it is currently 86 according to the thermostat, and it'll turn off the ceramic heat emitter once it gets to 90, but it never ever gets to 90. It's really hot right here, so if she wants to come up and use the background and bask when it's where it's warmer, then she can, but she generally sits right here or right here, and she seems to enjoy that a lot. And then I have she seems to have been using her water bowl, and that's another thing. I got her a new water bowl, which I think I talked about in the last video. It used to be a fake rock water bowl, but I don't like things like that. I just don't like the look of them at all. So I decided to go to this, which is pretty cool. This is just the bottom of a clay pot, and I think it's working really nicely. And honestly, I think it looks more natural, but that's just me. And I don't really see it because it is so flat. So when I'm sitting at my desk, I'll look over in this tank, one of the terrariums I like looking at the most, I think, and I'll look over at it and I don't really see that, which is pretty nice. And I think it's easier for her to get into or drink out of because it is closer to the ground. So this tank it is bioactive, so it has probably springtails somewhere in it, as well as isopods, and then sometimes dubia roaches will get out. I hand feed her dubia roaches, or tong feed her, But every once in a while I'll lose one, and since this is a bioactive setup, I'll just let them go. Or also, since it is a bioactive setup, it's hard to catch them every time, so that's why I let it go. But one thing, like I said, was the plant. So I'll show you a picture of this tank when I first set it up, and it'll be right about here from where the picture was taken right now. And now you can see the difference. It's just really, really crazy. These plants were way farther down. They have just been taking off, and they'll get super tall. So eventually I'll probably cut them. And then, I don't know, I think that's kind of just the plan. Maybe I'll start taking off these, but they're going to grow right out of the top, because the top is a DIY lid. It is chicken wire or caging. And these plants will grow right out of the top of it because of how it is. It's so, the holes are so wide, but I don't even worry about the top, honestly. I could probably leave this, leave the top off, and she would never get out. Actually, that's one of the things. I think that you could do a leopard gecko enclosure with no top really easily without them ever getting out. If this tank didn't have a background, then I wouldn't even worry about it, because they can't climb glass or all their leopard geckos, but she barely even climbs the background. She did when I first put her in, when she was exploring, but she doesn't really now. She does walk around. What's kind of cool is behind these plants, there's kind of like a route, and she'll walk around and come out beside this cactus here. But she pretty much just stays in her hide and basks during the night. So I will put a list down in the description of the plants that are in here, and I think I have their scientific names of pretty much all of them. I don't really know what this is, but I think I know everything else, so I'll put those down in the description. And then obviously I'll link the videos that I made this setup in. But it's been working really well, and she's been doing really well. I wish I could show you her, but that's one thing about this setup is I can't get her unless she wants me to. So I can't even reach my hand back there, which I guess can be kind of bad. But if I really needed to, I could remove a rock and I could get her. But I don't really need to at any point. So she comes out every night, or sometimes she's out during the morning. So I know that I can get her then if I need to, but I really don't worry about her. She's one of the animals that I just have no worries about at all. Mostly out of sight, out of mind, but I don't worry about her eating, worry about anything. She's doing well, so that's really exciting. And these plants are really cool. I really like how she interacts with them and stuff. I really like the cactuses, how I got them to grow, how these are spineless cactuses, so they don't hurt her in any way or anything. And they will hopefully grow more pads. That's what I'm hoping. So we'll see how that goes. But these aloe have pups coming up, which is pretty cool, and they will get really tall as well. So I think they're already growing pretty good. But that's another exciting thing there. But as far as bioactivity and everything, these are doing well. There are some isopods under her water bowl, which there generally are, so it's good to see that they're going. And I do water this tank actually way more often than I thought I would. I thought, it'll be arid, I'll never water it ever. Well, it actually stays really dry in here, and as you saw with me cleaning the glass, I dumped water straight in. I realized that I could take this off, and then it's a lot easier to water her, because she actually is the only animal that I have a water bowl for besides Charlie, and Charlie has such a big water bowl that I have to take his out and dump it out. So I can actually take this off and just set it in there for a while, and it'll get out the old water and it'll water the aquarium or the terrarium. And I actually do that pretty often because these plants, like it just gets dry in here really quickly, and these plants need more water and everything than I kind of thought they would, but it stays dry on top. But the nice thing about that is there is a drainage layer, so if she does need more humidity, then she can dig back in her hide, and she will get that more water and stuff if she needs that. But if she doesn't, then she just can just sit on the dirt like normal. She probably does dig a lot back there. I'm not exactly sure, because like I said, I can't really see back there, and I can't really see what she's doing back there. But she can dig back there, which I think is something that they would naturally do a little bit. And then I think I've seen her kind of try to dig on top of these slate pieces. But she does defecate. She doesn't defecate anywhere out here. She only does it in the back, which isn't ideal. But the isopods are probably cleaning that up. Like, I can see the urates because they're white. So I can actually see those back there. So I think that she's kind of designated the absolute corner of this, because that goes all the way to the back of the tank, which is actually quite a ways. It's quite a big hide back there. And she poops in that corner, and then I think she lays right behind, like right through there, like right behind the plant and that rock. And she seems to be all right with it. One thing that was kind of worrying with such a big hide is that normally leopard geckos like really small spaces that they can like kind of just fit their bodies. Like, you want to make sure you have a good hide, like a big hide that they can even lay out in and stuff. But they also kind of like to kind of cram themselves into a space, which is kind of an advantage to having a bioactive setup with using like cork bark and slate and stuff. You can create like tons of nooks and crannies for them to get into, which I think is pretty cool. But that was one of the worries. She doesn't seem to mind at all, I don't think, because there is another hide that she could have gotten into, but she never has. It's back in this corner, but it's a lot more. It's actually kind of buried at this point, because I realized she wasn't using it, so I buried it so I could plant more plants back here. But it's like a real small hole, and then it gets pretty big back there, but she's never gone inside of that, which is good, because I literally could not get her out of that if she went in. Like this one, if I really try, I can, but she would just basically be in there. I'd have to tear the tank apart. So tank's been doing really well, really satisfied with it. Not a whole lot I'd change. One thing I would change is to have more substrate, like have it maybe a couple more inches up, so to design the whole background to like maybe be up higher, like those to be more like the mid tank, and then have like a whole lot of substrate, so then you wouldn't see like this part of these plants. I could bury that, and that would be good for the plants, but it'd also be good to give her more like, I don't know, that I think that would just be cooler to have some more elevation change between the dirt that's just right here. Like, you could kind of have a whole thing. But I like it, she likes it, and I hope you guys like it too. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like it down below. If you have any comments or concerns, put in the comments below. And if more content, then subscribe, because there is a lot of content coming out of this about turtles, lizards, tortoises now, just so many things. It's gonna be crazy, and it's great. So subscribe and have a fantastic day.